Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a first impressions video on a couple of TuyaKnives. So this is TuyaKnife Company. I want to thank Dave Warren. He's their distributor and customer service in the US. And I will link to his Facebook page down below where he gives some coupons and kind of lets you know what's going on with TuyaKnives in terms of new models and discussions and stuff like that. So let me pop these guys open. This is the first model. I don't know the name of this model, and that's because if you look at the box, all it says is TuyaKnife, there you go, T160RT. I'm sure with that information, you can definitely find this model if you want to take a look at it. And in terms of what's going on here, we have a clip point blade, satin finish, D2 steel, which is quite nice. Top swedge here. Black DLC coating on the flats and on the blade spine. Moving down to the handle and the action, we've got a liner lock with a flipper that's actually pretty nicely dialed in. The action on this is quite enjoyable. G10 handle scales over stainless steel liners, G10 backspacer, deep carry pocket clip. Feels pretty nice in hand. Obviously, we'll get a size and weight on this in a second, but I'll give you a look in there. You can see it is milled out a little bit to save some weight. And so this is the more budget friendly knife that he sent along. The other knife is in a slightly higher price category. Open this guy up, and in here we have the Argon. So we've got a titanium frame lock with S35VN steel. Some really interesting milling going on here and anodizing, so pretty attractive knife. Down here, up here I should say, we've got a fairly standard blade shape. Hollow grind, stonewash on the bevels and on the swedge, and satin on the flats, which does create a nice contrast there. Reasonably thin behind the edge because of that hollow grind, and some nice thick blade stock, which I'm definitely a fan of. In terms of the handle itself, you can take a look at the action on that is pretty smooth. Detent is nicely dialed in. We've got a titanium milled clip and a fairly comfortable knife to operate. It is, again, a flipper only, just like the one we looked at a second ago. So this is, by the way, the Argon. I do know the name on this guy. Fairly easy, again, knife to come by. There are a couple of reviews out there as well on this guy. Let me move the packaging out of my way, and I'll go ahead and grab you a size and weight on these two. So first up, we'll take a look at the D2 version here. Overall size here is going to be pretty much exactly 8.5 inches. Blade length is pretty much exactly 3.5 inches. Let's check the handle here. 5 inches on the handle. And the width is going to be just a little over 1/2 inch. You should be able to see it there okay now. How about weight? Get this guy going, and 4.9 ounces. So 4.9 ounces is pretty reasonable, especially for a knife of this size. In a second, actually move this aside, and let's do the same thing for the Argon, the titanium frame lock here. Fully open. This guy is going to be 8 3/8. You should be able to see that there. Blade length here is going to be, make sure I'm getting it on the highest point, just around 3.5 inches, almost exactly, might be just a hair over 3.5 inches. Not quite 9/16 though. And the handle length is going to be just over 4 7/8. So see how that line is just kind of covered. Guess I'll grab you a width here as well. Width on this guy is going to be just a little thinner than the last one, just a slight hair over 1/2 inch thick. And finally, come on. Okay, there we go. Weight on this guy is going to be 4.6 ounces. 4.6 ounces. All right. What are my thoughts on these two knives? Well, since we've been kind of going through this one first all along, let's continue to do that. I'm not totally in love with the design of this knife. I'm not sure if the blade shape really kind of matches with the handle. However, I do really like the ergonomics. It's really comfortable, really grippy G10. I love the fact that I've got this forward finger choil. You guys know I'm a fan of that. And so in terms of actual, comfort in hand, feels pretty good. And I think this is going to be a pretty effective knife in terms of use. EDC, maybe EDC plus. That is, what I mean by EDC plus is you can probably do some slightly harder tasks than you would do with just a light use EDC knife. Let's see, moving on to the Argon here. With the S35VM blade steel, really, really interesting looking handle there and the nice milling that they've done. Again, very comfortable in hand. Again, a nice place for me to choke up. And so I think this is going to be a really nice EDC knife. I think it's going to be a great offering for anyone who wants to get, an interesting looking knife, something that is a titanium frame lock. That's sort of, normally we associate that with an a higher end knife. Really nice action here. Again, great EDC, EDC plus for sure. And both of these are going to be, to my knowledge, coming in at a little more attractive price point. I want to say thanks again to Dave Warren. And again, I will remind you that I'll put his Facebook page down below. Overall, I'm pretty happy with these knives. Now look for the full review. Maybe, as I'm using this, there'll be some catastrophic failure, or I'll realize that for some reason they're just not workable. But at this point, I'm fairly pleased. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.